Hey friends, science versus religion, fun topic, and often portrayed as these things that are antagonistic towards each other, these philosophies, these different ways of thinking. They're not. They're absolutely united in purpose. Science explains how, religion explains why. Let me give you an example. So we have this running leg, running down the street, and we have this camera honed in on this leg, and you can see all the bones, the sinews, the joints, the ligaments, the quadriceps and the hamstring and the calf muscle and the meniscus, whatever that thing is, and then you've got the cruciate ligament, you've got the tarsals in the feet, whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. Science can tell you exactly how all that works, and it is amazing to know that. But it can never tell you what that leg is running for. Why is that leg running? Like, why? For a bus? Missed a train? Going to see the dad? After a child who drove into the street? You don't know. And here's the deal. Science can explain how something works, but it's in order that we understand better why something works. And religion explains very clearly our purpose, our destiny, and the reason for our existence. Science and religion are not competing against each other. It's this interesting, like, last 200 years, the meta-narrative, especially in Western culture, it's just not real. It doesn't mean anything. We've been trying to understand the world around us for millennia, and it's worked in tandem with religious thought over the course of those millennia up until very recently. And it's normally because of the arrogance of secular humanism. We haven't got time to go there right now, but we have to understand that they're very much in tandem, science and religion. One explains how, one explains why. But more than that, scientists generally now agree that the universe has a beginning. And when I say generally, like, they're 96% sure the universe has a beginning. Stephen Hawking thought that it was just ever expanding, shaped like a trumpet. They've disproved that theory now. And the idea that the world, the universe itself had a beginning is very much part of scientific thought, which means this: that if the world had a beginning, something had to begin it. And now there are conversations over what that could possibly be. Now, the characteristics of any being, or anything at all, that could create or could begin a universe like ours, as complex as it is, as wide and as big as it is, means they've got to be all powerful, all seeing, all knowing, have to be sentient, so able to think. They'd also have to be creative. And as we list the characteristics of the creator, or the whatever you want to call him, or the creator of the universe, we actually find our way working towards Yahweh, the Jewish and Judeo-Christian God. So most scientists agree that the universe has a beginning and that something began it. There's obviously differences of views over what or who began it, but I'm just saying most scientists agree that something began the universe. But even deeper than that, philosophically, science and religion are not opposed. Why? Because science is predicated on religious ideas, religious questions, and metaphysical questions. In other words, questions that do not reside in the realm of science. Science is based on the idea that you can discover something true. Science is based on the idea that discovering something true is not only achievable, it's worthwhile, and not only is it worthwhile, it's good to search out truth. The idea of truth, the idea of searching it out and it being morally good and being morally virtuous, are not ideas of science. They're ideas of religion. So even the pre-understanding of science is religious at its center. It is philosophical at its root. Science grew out of universities. Universities grew out of monasteries. Monasteries were set up from the Christian faith, especially in the West. We have to understand this, friends. Science and religion are not competing. They're working towards the same goal. Just secular humanism and the arrogance of mankind that believes that we are the highest epitome of all creation has managed to minimize the role of religion and maximize the role of science. Both are important. Don't reject one for the other. They both work hand in hand. Never forget that. Peace.